In 2024, I was asked to run for District 29 Oregon State Senate by the Democratic Party. I don't want to get too much into story, but I decided to leave the Democratic Party because I had been really clear I wanted to accept no money. And I kept getting pressure to accept PAC money and funding. And with that, I'll just pull out of that story. So I went really grassroots and I ran as a non affiliated candidate for District 29 Oregon State Senate with a message that I was going to take zero campaign contributions and encourage people to give back to local nonprofits or empty the seniors cart at Walmart, bring a bag of dog food to the animal shelter. What can we do for other people? With the billions spent on campaign funds in America, I just wanted to have some level of campaign reform and let it be about messaging and not about money. I gave a speech at the Pendleton Convention Center and I talked about my food advocacy and important apps like Yucca and EWG and olive for seed oils and reading our labels. And I spoke after I was actually while I was running, I spoke at both U.S. Senator Merkley and U.S. Senator Wyden's town halls about the need to revise the FDA product approval process to no longer allow hazardous ingredients. Both senators encouraged me to follow through, and I did. And I created a 29-page report, leaned into keeping Americans alive and well, which demonstrated 20 products that I'd scanned using the Yucca app, YUKA, which you also need to couple scanning with reading total grams of sugar. I've gone from 177 to 139 using the Yucca app and making sure I don't eat anything total grams of over 50. On the Yucca app, you can scan shampoo, toothpaste, skin lotion, and if anything rates under 50, it's tied to chronic disease and mental health. It shows the impacts of the hazardous ingredients as well as the scientific-based research data, as evidence to the data that it provides in the app. Out of the 20 products that I scanned, 31 had hazardous ingredients tied to mental health and chronic disease. I brought my presentation to staff in Washington, D.C. at both U.S. Senator and U.S. Senator Wyden and Merkley's offices. And I did not ever receive a response from either office. I did a podcast, I did a radio show on my own to try and get the word out about food advocacy and education. And I did not win my race. I pulled in close to 20%. And congratulations to Todd Nash, who did win. He is currently the District 29 Oregon State Senate. It is 2026 now. So I felt compelled to go deeper. And Harvard University was offering free classes. They're still offering many classes. I just signed up for managing happiness. And I signed up after the Senate race for Harvard University's We the People, Civic Engagement in a Constitutional Democracy. And Professor Deborah Allen was absolutely incredible. It just gave me such deepened knowledge of our Constitution. And the overall message aligned so deeply with the campaign message that I had was to encourage citizens to truly find something to be passionate about, to take action on, and they encouraged us to do so. And I ended up drafting an executive order on the need to revise the FDA product approval process. And I did submit it to the White House and got a nice generic letter back from Donald Trump and Melania. Definitely not addressing the draft executive order. So all I know is that we can take it upon ourselves to create change. This is where I want to start integrating mindfulness into a long way home. Shift from the life journey to the awakening portion of these recordings. I decided to become a substitute teacher in March of 2025 with the Pendleton School District, K through 12. And it was absolutely one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. It also gave me a very deepened sense of reality of the severity of the attention span due to social media, high sugar products, foods with hazardous ingredients tied to ADHD, hypersensitivity, and the list goes on and on. That this generation has a great need to cultivate mindfulness, respect, the ability to concentrate more than a 2-second social media video. And I came away with recognizing the importance of just one-on-one outside the school district, but just with my own friends, sharing myself on social, walking my own talk. I just had my annual physical, and everything is looking amazing. Great cholesterol, great blood pressure, great BMI. But I've taken nearly 3 years of really, really being mindful. I have scanned over 30 hours at Walmart and Safeway. I do not purchase products that scan under 50 on the Yuka app. I do not buy products that have more than total grams of sugar of 6 grams. Harvard University did a study in cocaine addicted mice are choosing sugar over cocaine. So both those things are just not okay. We are facing possibly the largest health crisis we've ever seen in America, with growing levels in childhood obesity, childhood diabetes. And anyone listening to this, I just really encourage you to consider downloading these apps, whether it's Bobby Farish, Yuka, EWG. I am not a PR platform for any specific app. Also, there's Olive for seed oils. And to couple the scanning with actually reading labels, no more than total grams of 6 grams of sugar, that we can take our power back as Americans to save the next generation, to save our current generation, to take our health back, to take our power back. Sadly, I became super cynical when nothing happened as a result of my trip to Washington, D.C. Nothing happened as a draft executive order was submitted. And then I realized that it just has to come from people being ready to make lifestyle change and heighten awareness. So I'm going to close out this flow with encouraging you to ask yourself what changes you're ready to make in your own life, and that you can do it. You can do it. I did it. 177 to 139, and I am feeling amazing. Let's take a breath. That's such a big topic, right? Hazardous ingredients in consumer products.